Welcome CNG 124 online to our midweek check-in. I was just able to get through the labs, and there were quite a bit of mistakes, and I think the disconnect here is practice. We've learned everything that had to do with Lab 1 in the first 4 weeks. We're just applying everything we know to one specific task at this point. Let me go back and, oops, I'm about to spill that. Let me go back and look at this. The most errors I saw was with the network IPs. And when I say network IPs, I guess we can use the current lab as an example. Make sure you're practicing. Make sure you're looking at those homeworks. There will help you through your process of doing this. I hope I have an old date on there. So let's see. I give you 195.88.0 or 195.4.88.0 that requires 12 hosts per subnet. And hopefully I get everyone's errors in here. I left you feedback on all the assignments. So if I have 12 hosts, I need to have the usable host numbers be greater than or equal to 12. Well, the number of hosts per subnet at this time has to be a fixed number, 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4 at this point. They have to be a set number of that. But it has to make sure that whatever we do choose for the number of hosts per subnet has to accommodate 12 usable hosts. So we have to verify these numbers again to make sure that this number here, 12, fits into the usable host per subnet. And that'll give us the number of subnets later. I did get a question about, a few questions about, excuse me, how many bits are remaining, how many bits are borrowed. So when I give you this /024, I'm sorry, .0/24, I'm giving you the whole last octet that you need to divide then for me. When we start dividing that last octet, to get down to the number of hosts per subnet to give us the required usable hosts, each bit we start to take away, we have to have that accounted for. So I saw people got the prefix right, where I saw other people got the subnet mask right. So I know you're doing the adding, and I know you're figuring out how to get the subnet mask. So the bits you're borrowing are the bits in the octet that you're marking with a 1, while the remaining bits are going to be 0. So since we're doing Class C, we're working with 1 byte, so I know that there will be 8 bits total in that last octet, and that's what we're modifying. Say we go to this one here, subnet 0. Everybody started with network address 0, which was right, because it's up here, that's what I started with. The host range, now here's where we have to do a little bit of math, and remember that, I think this was in the slides too for last week, we can only use an IP address once. Once that IP address is used up, we cannot use that IP address again. So say we use our network address as 195.4.88.0, my available range will not be 0, because the usable host predicts that I have 2 less than the number of hosts per subnet. So then if I'm working with a 12, I have 16. I'm just doing some fast math here. I know my subnet will be 16 hosts, so I'll have a 16 here, a 14 here. So when I put 0 here, I have to go from 1 to 13, right? Or did I get that right? 1 to 14, that's 14. Then my broadcast is 15. Then my next network address, it cannot be 15. It has to go to a consecutive number, which would then be 16. And then my available host range then goes another 14. Goes another 14 usable hosts, and then goes to the broadcast again. All these numbers are consecutive, and you cannot use the same number again. So once you start counting, make sure to not duplicate a number. You have to keep on moving forward, just like your mileage would in your car. When you get to 10 miles in your car, when it rolls over, it simply doesn't go, or when it goes to the next one, it says 11 miles. It doesn't go back to 10. you'd go to 11 miles and 12 miles, then to 19, and then it doesn't go back to 10 again. It goes 20, and then 21, 22. It just keeps on going, just like the mileage in your car. That's the way we're going to count this. For this week, something added in, network address, broadcast address. Remember, I am just giving you an IP. It's up to you to find the network address and broadcast address of this IP. It is not, it could be a network address, it could be a broadcast address. I'm just giving you a plain, simple IP, and I say, tell me where it resides. And that's it, and that's really it for that one. But all the grades should be back in for your project or your lab 6. If I asked for more, give me more. Turn it in, and I'll modify points for that. In most cases, if you had a mistaken one, you got a 90. I asked for you to redo it. If you got a mistaken 2, I gave you an 80. Excuse me. Told you to redo it. And if you made a mistake in 3, I gave you 70 and just told you to redo it. So make sure to get those in. The key point here is to make sure I can look at progress and see your guys' class project and how many times you're logging in a week. Even if you're just logging a few times a week, make sure you're practicing. You cannot put this down until you have this mastered. We only have about 2 more weeks of working on subnetting to make sure that you have it mastered, because when we go to the next project, we're going to be incorporating a lot more things with subnetting, and it's going to become, once again, difficult again, but you've already learned how to count, how to borrow bits. So it's important that we use these, let's see, last week, this week, and then 2 more weeks. So we have like 3 weeks to go, but it's important that you, or I guess this week's almost over. It's important that you start to master this and practice it. I'm not the best students. The best way to increase your chances for passing this class with an A is to practice. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you look at it once in a week. If you practice for 8 hours in that one time period, you're going to be great. Once again, I can see your progress and be like, okay, this is why you're having difficulties, is because you're not spending enough time in the course or practicing to enhance those skills and get you past this. I want you to succeed. So if you have any questions, reach out. If my feedback wasn't specific enough or you still don't know what I'm talking about, once again, feel free to reach out. My number is 970-204-8419. I'll be in the office today until like 7. Yeah, today's my really long day. I'm subbing, so I'm in the office until tonight. I will gladly reach out back to you by phone and call you back and kind of walk you through how to improve your labs and how to get that better. With that, I leave you guys. Remember, that's probably as far as I'm going to get for today with grading. But remember, I will not be back until Monday. If you do have questions or you want to work in like a networking environment, feel free to come down to Larimer campus. We do an open computer lab Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where the lab BP116 Blanca Peak 116 is staffed with students that are there to mentor and tutor any sort of computing student and help them with their homework. With that, I leave you guys. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon.